The past two seasons have been rather hit and miss if you are a fan of the Kolkata Knight Riders, because despite making the final in 2021, which truth be told was a pretty asterisk marked final because you had the season happen in two halves and the second half was in UAE, totally different conditions, but still the fact is the team reached the final, and after that there was an expectation that come the next mega auction the team would kick on and potentially become regular fixtures of at least making the playoffs once again. However, that hasn't quite been the case because both in 2022 and 2023, the team have narrowly missed out on qualification to the playoffs both times around, incidentally losing matches to the Lucknow Super Giants in the end that pretty much sealed their fate and ensured that they weren't making it into the top four. So it has been, you can say that, they've come, there's two ways of looking at it. You could say that they've come very, very close and that they kind of need to stick to what they have and ensure that they can just make it to the next level. Or you could say that the fact that they even made it that close was down to a few freak results and they really do need to rebuild. KKR's team management has gone with the latter option, which is why they've released a lot of players and they do have a fair bit of rebuilding to do in this particular auction, which incidentally, let me remind you, is a mini auction before 2025's mega auction. So interesting time really to be rebuilding a team. But if there's one thing that's been shown is that right now teams do think for the here and now. They don't necessarily think of the long term always. So KKR will be needing to rebuild this side by a significant margin really. There's going to be a lot of players that they need to bring in, and before we wonder who exactly those players are, let's first take a look at the players they have as well as those that they would release, and also analyze how many slots they have both in terms of overall, overseas, and of course the amount of money that they have to spend. Now, this of course is a full-on reflection of where it is they stand right now. The players on this side as well as here are the players they've retained. So you've got a skipper Shreyas Iyer, Nitish Rana, Rinku Singh, Ramanullah Gurba, Sunil Narayan, Jason Roy, Suyash Sharma, Anukul Roy, Andre Russell, Venkatesh Iyer, Harshit Rana, Vaibhav Arora and Varun Chakravarti as the players they've retained. All well and good, but as you can see they have 12 slots available and they released 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, exactly 12 players. 12 players were the players they released, and while some of these were definitely squad options, the Shakib was definitely a squad option, same with the Litin Das, David Wieser, Arya Desai, Mandeep Singh, Kulwant Khajloria, Johnson Charles, all of these guys were very much players that were on the periphery. There were a few of these players who were here who were playing quite regularly. So Lockie Ferguson definitely was supposed to be in the scheme of things. His form was poor. Team Saudi played a lot of games. So did Umesh Yadav and Shardul Thakur. Shardul, you remember, was traded last season, brought and played pretty much every game, even though he didn't bowl in some games, but he did play a lot of games. And this time around got released because KKR probably realized that they need a lot more in their transfer kitty. They need that money in the purse. As you can see, 32.7. One of the key reasons they got that is because they could release a Shardul Thakur who was on 10.75 crores as a fee. Good player, sure, worth that much, debatable, which is why they've released him. And now 12 slots, 32.7 crores. Are they going to fill all those 12 slots? Probably not. You already have a good core of a team here, but there are definitely a few areas of concern that need to be addressed big time. One is pace bowlers. If you're looking at this entire lineup, there's legitimately Andre Russell, Harshit Rana and a Vaibhav Arora. You have three pacers, and one of those pacers is an Andre Russell who will not be bowling you 4 overs every game. So Harshit Rana, Vaibhav Arora both impressed towards the latter parts of last season. Sticking with them makes sense, but you do need some experience around them, and that is why I think KKR are definitely going to go big for pace bowlers, because you look at the release players. No Tim Saudi, no Lockie Ferguson, no Shardul Thakur, Kulwant Khajloria gone. That's 4 pacers right there, and Umesh Yadav. There's a lot of pacers that they ended up putting onto the chopping block there. They do need pacers, and they need pacers badly. Beyond that, they need a few backup players as well. For instance, they probably need a couple of backup all-rounders, because again, David Wieser was your Russell backup. He's been released. Shakib Al Hassan was your Sunil Narayan backup. He's been released, and you desperately need another wicket keeper option, because again, the only glovesman in the team right now is Ramanullah Gurbaz. You had a Litin Das last year and you had an N. Jagadisan. Both have been consigned to the scrap heap. So they do need a lot of rebuilding. The good thing is they have a lot of money. So from the players you could target, if you're looking at players who are at the high price bracket, because again, they have a lot of money to target. The Indian players who are on 2 crores right now with base price, there's a Harshal, a Shardul, there's Umesh, Kedar. I'm surprised Umesh Yadav, by the way, has gone for 2 crore base price, because I don't think anyone's buying him for that price. Maybe at base price. Shardul, I definitely think they are going for again, but maybe for a reduced price. As for the overseas players, you just know that they're going to be targeting at least one of a Stark or Cummins. Cummins has pretty much been a KKR lifer, barring that 1 or 2 seasons where he played for Delhi. But beyond that, I think KKR definitely going back for a Cummins. Stark could potentially be a player. Remember, the last time that Stark was in an auction, he was bought by KKR. He, of course, ended up pulling out of the IPL. A bit of legal wrangling there. Maybe they'll go for him. Otherwise, beyond that, if you're looking at it from this lot, there's probably few other players they're looking to target. Very, very few. These seem to be the main ones. A lot of their focus will be on, of course, as I said, all-rounders. So you might very well see them go for, of course, Chris Wokes would be not the worst option in the world. New ball bowler, can bat a bit, wouldn't be the worst option in the world. David Willey, another one. Remind you, David Willey won't necessarily be coming with the baggage of international cricket. He's retired. I think he'd be a great addition. Also, again, new ball gives you a bit with the bat. Could be the kind of player that they definitely need. So these would be a lot of the players that they look to target. Gerald Kirksey, another one who they'll potentially target. Again, he's coming off a very, very good World Cup and would cost a lot of money, but they have that money. Could they go for a Rassie van der Dussen, maybe to compete with the Gurbaz? Probably, but the likelihood will be is that they'll go for a cheaper wicketkeeper option. So they'll probably be scouting the domestic scene in that regard. Otherwise, if you look at players with the 1.5 crore base, I don't see too many here who they might necessarily want to target, because again, a lot of these players probably not there. Jason Holder as a backup option, probably not. You could go for a Nabi. They have gone for Nabi before. They barely played him. He'd be a decent backup to Sunil Narayan, plays a similar role. Beyond that, is there anyone here they can go for? No one that strikes me really. Chris Lynn, of course, former KKR boy. Will they go for him though? I don't think they need him. 1 crore, again, you could go for an Ashton Agar as a backup to Sunil Narayan. Could probably be a bargain, has some pedigree in that regard. If you're looking at, wicketkeeper options, Sam Billings, who was with KKR in the 2022 season, could be a decent enough backup to a Gurbaz. Beyond that, if you're looking at it, not so much. Daryl Mitchell might not be the worst option in the world, neither would a Parnell or Pretorius, but again, a lot of these would be hit or miss players, and you might want to make them first choices rather than bench players. Of the Indian players who would come under this, a KS Bharat might not be the worst option if you're looking for a backup keeper, but are his credentials good enough? Mavi, by the way, is coming in with a price of 50 lakhs. Don't forget, Mavi is a player that has played for KKR in the past. He was in fact released by KKR in the last auction, picked by Gujarat, didn't get a game, now back here. He could be an interesting option if you ask me, because again, it does give you a bit of batting and a bit of bowling, both. Beyond that, is there anyone they'll go for? I really doubt, not from this particular list anyway. But these are essentially why I'm going so big for KKR when you're looking at it. It's not just because I'm a KKR fan. You guys know that already, having spent about 2 odd years with me. It's also because they do have a lot of money to spend, and they need to inject instant immediate quality, because they've released 12 players and they don't really have much in the way of a pace bowling, and they need backups. They'll need to fill in a lot of slots, and I do see them going big for certain slots of those. Wokes Willie might be worth bargain buys. They might just go bigger. Cummins Stark, I think, will be the expensive ones they go for sure. At least one, if not potentially both, I think they're going to go for in terms of big money. Beyond that, we don't really know, but these are, I think, what will be the players they'll target, as well as the auction strategy. Anytime you'll see pacers come up, KKR are going to go big. Same for wicket keepers and all-rounders, because they need backups in those positions. Of course, they might just fill the backups in the accelerated auction, maybe not necessarily go too big, but auctions, remember, can be very, very unpredictable. You don't quite know what exactly it is that these teams are going to go for. Might just be a totally left of field option that none of us saw coming. Do you think there's going to be any from the KKR camp? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTak app, and if you're already on the channel, well, then what are you waiting for? Go right ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now though, from my side, it's bye-bye.